Vaping and nicotine gum do not serve my greater purpose in life. Only engage in that which directs you towards your ultimate purpose. It is only there that you are able to find meaning. But what does meaning or to have meaning even mean? In Bhutan, they find meaning in death. Viktor Frankl found meaning in the concentration camps by realizing the only chance at survival was imagining a future beyond that place. It's like realizing the Buddhist concept of impermanence. It's only when we perceive something as being permanent that pain becomes overwhelming and unbearable. When are we challenged to find life and meaning in life? Who is challenged the hardest, and how do they find it? I recently realized my mental habits, which is I'm in a constant state of chasing the dragon, meaning chasing hits of dopamine. I started vaping again, but recently quit, and man, the mental shift that happens is astounding. I think smoking, vaping, and perhaps even drinking in a different way affect our thinking and habits more than anything else. We find ourselves in a constant state of seeking out something to make us feel good. Food, exercise, coffee, drugs, smoking, drinking, TV shows, movies, sex, porn, and so on. It's a toxic evolution of the psyche. It's not just people on Instagram and social media, it's all of us. But is that because it's our programming? If so, can we rewrite it? The opposite of this would be Buddhism. Impermanence. Not being attached. Being content as opposed to seeking. Being happy with what you have and not constantly craving something that's going to give you a hit of dopamine. The best possible thing in life is loving what you're doing so much and getting so caught up that you forget to eat or drink. Like now, me, with this journal. It's great. I love it. I'm so happy. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 32 of the Paddy and The Yank podcast. How you doing, Paddy?
Carry me, caravan, take me away. Take me to Portugal, take me to Spain. I'm doing fantastic, Yank. I'm doing fantastic. What the hell was that? That was very enjoyable. That was damn good.
That was my journal, man. I journal all the time.
Really?
For me, it's the best accountability mirror, man. I look into the journal and I see the truth about myself, and that's how I work through my problems and find solutions.
Man, you're a good writer.
Thank you.
Thank you. That's damn good.
I'm almost done with my book, man. Well, I'm finished with the writing.
I can't
now
wait for that.
transcribe.
The Yank is writing a book at the moment.
Yep.
Which he's hoping to have released when, by Christmas?
It's written. Readers, if you can, write a book. It's very hard and it takes a very long time. I wrote 250 pages by hand. I have 150 pages typed. I'm now going to the mountains next week. I'm going to spend 3 days in the mountains typing, and I'm going to finish transcribing my book, and then I'm going to hire an editor and get this baby published and out by Christmas.
Alrighty.
Yeah, baby.
Everybody's Christmas stocking for Christmas. The Yank's book, all right?
That's right. So we have a lot to talk about. Did that excerpt from my journal make you think about anything?
Yeah, it did make me think about something. Well, what I remember most clearly was the end when you said you're happy, and I thought, okay, that's great. And then also about meaning in life. What is meaning in life, and what's your meaning in life? And yeah, so those two things stood out to me.
Can I tell you why?
I was playing chess with myself as well at the same time here on the board.
You selfish bastard.
I couldn't help it.
The happy thing is it's a new thing for me. This whole happiness thing. Since I've been in Taiwan, which has been 8 years now, I've always been discontent, pissed off, not happy, reactionary, not happy with my job, not happy with my relationship, not happy with my house, whatever. And since I've moved into this house, which has this huge open balcony and huge windows, I just feel free. I feel content. I feel happy. Happy with my house, happy with my job, happy with my relationship, which will never be perfect, but I've accepted that.
Whose is?
But I think we get tricked into expecting perfection, or expecting
very true.
There's a perfect woman, or there's a perfect job. Yeah. that shit don't exist.
It's a fantasy, man. It's a
And,
myth
like,
and a fantasy.
For me, I had to come of age to realize that. You know?
Very good way of
I always
putting it.
thought there was a perfect girl or there was a perfect job. And this job I have right now, I'm like, this is as good as it gets.
Mm.
You know what I mean? I got
Yeah.
the basic requirements. Coworkers, good. Boss, good. You know? Environment, I can like do yoga. I can kick my kids. I can hit them if I get mad. It's all good.
Sounds fantastic.
I love it. And I'm happy for the first time. And another really pivotal role that plays into my happiness is my sense of purpose. And I have a strong sense of purpose now. When I go to work, I pick these kids' brains apart when they get scared. I used to get mad. And now when they get scared, I'm like, all right, why are they scared? And what can I do to fix their fear? How can I counter this so that class can keep moving forward? And I got this new kid named Ollie. So funny.
That's the name of our dog.
Yeah. He gets angry, and I've never had an angry baby before. You know, there's always scared ones, and there's like nervous ones. But now all of a sudden I got an angry baby. First time.
We got a shitty baby. We got a
I got a couple shitty babies.
We got a cry baby.
Yep.
We got a lovey baby.
Yep.
We got a, what did you call
Smart
it?
baby.
Smart
Stupid baby.
We got an angry baby.
Vegan baby.
We need 5 angry babies down here at once.
Now I got an angry baby.
Go on.
So he got it. So he's like trying to take his lunch bowl out of his bag or something, and he gets angry and like he's like and hits himself. And I was like, "Hey, you!"
Yeah.
And then I was like, "What? Did I just get mad at him for being mad? What the fuck's going on here? Like that's obviously not going to fix the problem, right?"
Yeah. Should have just beat him.
So I kicked him in the head. So I stepped back and tried to evaluate the situation and evaluate what was going on and figure out how to counter his anger, right? And I was like, what do I like to do? I like to box. And actually that was what I ended up going and doing. I started punching him in the chest softly, kicking him a little bit, pushing him around. And all the kids love it. They love it when I roughhouse with them. And my buddy Josh was here the other day saying that's a very important part of development, of child development, like the ability to roughhouse.
Bit of roughhousing.
Yeah, and they say, in Taiwan they really don't do that.
But you know what? No roughhousing in the foyer.
Yeah, exactly. And so I've really been taking these kids serious, and I've been like growing and becoming super patient, and so I'm finding a lot of purpose at work. And I'm really like feeling fulfilled and happy at work. And then I get purpose from this podcast, man. I really feel like I'm serving a purpose. Like, I feel like I was like, a couple buddies came over yesterday. I feel like a mental health counselor. I feel like we all have a purpose. We all have a purpose we can serve. And I've always wanted to be a speaker or somebody that inspires.
I think you are a very good speaker.
I try. Just want to help people, But like, I have such a strong purpose to do so many things. Like I box. That's a purpose. So there's so many things I do for the purpose of boxing. Cardio, core, what I eat.
Yep.
I check my weight, stuff like that. And the podcast, I have purpose. And I was telling my friend this, and as I was telling him this, I kind of realized he didn't feel any sense of purpose in his life. And that's why he's been depressed. And that's when I realized like how special this thing I have is. And perhaps it's even rare. How many people in this day and age really have a strong sense of purpose? Like, I have a meaning, I have a purpose, I have a reason to get out of bed and do my best today.
Yeah.
Is that common?
I think people are kind of more on robotic mode. A lot of people they just have to do what they do. But when it comes to purpose, it's like, what gives you purpose? Like, what gives them purpose? Just going to a 9-to-5 job that they hate every day, does that give them purpose and fulfillment in their life? Probably not. You know what I mean? So
when I asked my friend this question, he was perplexed. Or actually, I said, like, what do you love? What do you want? What do you want to change? I use the Secret app every day to ask myself these questions.
Yeah.
And so many people don't ask these questions. And these questions are the guiding questions of life. If you don't know the answer to these questions, you don't know where you're going.
Yeah.
What do you want? What do you want to change? What do you love? What makes you happy? These are guiding directions that will direct you down the path that you want to go. And I also get a really strong sense of purpose from you. I love you.
You flatter me, Yank. You
I love
flatter
you,
me.
man. I was talking
I'll
to
take your flattery as weakness then.
was talking to my friend Mango, and I was like, if you ripped Paddy and Ninja Ned, out of my life right now, my life would change drastically.
Yeah.
And the reason is because we have a sense of community where we inspire, encourage, and support each other. And I constantly see you guys pushing yourselves beyond your capacity. The weighted tricep dips. The weighted pull-ups.
Yeah.
Wim Hof breathing. Ice baths. All this amazing stuff. Headstands.
Yeah.
This is amazing stuff that normal people cannot do, man.
They can. They just don't.
Thank you.
Everybody
Thank you.
can. It's whether you decide to do it or not. You know?
We all have the capacity to do it.
Yeah.
But do you have the purpose?
There you go.
Would I do this stuff if I didn't have a reason to do it? Would I I'm always kind of like fasting and trying to cut my weight and stuff. But what if you weren't here?
Yeah.
What if I didn't have a boxing coach? What reason would I have to check my weight or lose weight? Sometimes I'm like, I just need to do a 24-hour fast because my weight's up a little higher than I want it.
Yeah.
And boom, I just trim it down real quick. I have a purpose, and you hold me accountable.
Yeah.
You hold me accountable and you inspire me. And Ninja Ned does the same thing. We have such a strong sense of community that holds ourselves accountable. And I realized my buddy didn't have that, and I almost felt bad when I was saying it to him because we used to be really tight. And I'm sitting, and I think the more I said it, the more lonely he felt. But this is the important thing. He realized he was lonely.
Yeah.
He was sad before, but he didn't know why he was sad.
Okay.
You know?
I know.
And by the conversation, he's like, oh, what I'm missing is friends. So a healthy social life.
They have the box set of Friends in the video store here for like $5.99. I can go and buy that for him and give it to him.
That is how he learned English.
Season 1 to 2. What are you joking? What? Really?
Yes. He learned English.
From the TV
He's
series
Taiwanese.
Friends.
He learned English by watching Friends.
A lot of people in Taiwan have studied the TV show Friends in helping them to benefit their English. Something probably listeners didn't know.
Yeah. It's very, very useful. So when I said this and he realized it, that's the first step, is realizing why you're sad. And we are social creatures. And he just realized that was really missing in his life. And now he's like, man, I really think I need to start coming over more. And I'm like, yeah, absolutely. Like friends and social support systems are quintessential. Yeah. Quintessential to our survival.
Well, we're a social species,
We certainly are.
And I mean, I'm not the most social of people anymore. I used to be when I was
Most
younger.
of my friends are antisocial, which is funny.
Yeah, I mean, I spend a lot of time.
Even antisocial people need to be social. I know I interrupted you.
Yeah, no, it's all good. Which I do. I do. I socialize a little bit more now, but I'm not on a mission to make friends. It's like if friends come into my life, they come into my life. I've traveled around and lived in many different countries at this stage, and it's like I realize that friends come and go, and you got to make the best of them while they're there. And that's the way I look at it. I have friends in Australia, in America, in Canada, in Ireland, in England, Scotland, all over the world. And when I say friends, I mean they're people like that. If I met again, I would want. If I was in any of those countries, I would want to connect with these people because I consider them my friends. Even though I mightn't have seen some of these people in 5 years, in fucking 8 years, you know what I mean? But the time that we spent together in those years that I would have lived in that place, that I guess stands the test of time for the most part.
When my friend died last year, really lost my shit, and it was really hard to deal with it. But when she died, I realized that we signed a contract when we come out of the womb that, all right, you have signed up to play, and part of this contract says you will watch everybody that you love die, and you're also going to die too.
Yep.
And I was like, man, that pisses me off. But in another aspect, I've realized every life is nothing but a series of chapters.
Yeah, very true.
Chapters are constantly starting and ending. Always. You're always entering or exiting a chapter. Like right now.
Yep.
We're in a chapter. I mean, I hope this chapter lasts forever.
We're in a chapter of our lives right now.
Yeah.
That we could look back on in 10 years. We mightn't even know each other.
I'd be so proud of this.
Me too. That's
the thing. That's a good question to ask, Yeah. 10 years from now, will I be happy or sad about what I was doing at that moment? Yeah. You know what I mean? How will I feel about that behavior? Obviously, if you're like slamming bottles of whiskey and going out every night and like fucking prostitutes, you might not feel very good.
Yep.
Might be I wasted my best years.
But you're like, I was doing something with purpose, and I was
doing something with purpose. Yeah. So important. It's so important. And also, who you surround yourself with. And I guess we kind of already touched on that.
Big time. Who you surround yourself with, you know what I mean? you want to surround yourself with people that are positive and that inspire you. You know what I mean? That give you something, you know? If you're hanging around with someone that's always like, moaning, complaining, always doing stuff like that, it can rub off on yourself. You know, it can rub off on you. Or, like, I think you told me a story before about you met one of your old friends that you hadn't seen in a few years.
Well, yeah,
Tell me the story.
So a few years ago, before I met you,
yeah.
I was a drunk and an addict. And I was lazy and I was out of shape.
You were fat, man. I seen pictures of you 3 years ago and you were way overweight, man.
Looked like I was carrying a baby.
You were pure bloated, man.
And I wasn't happy either. I was extremely unhealthy.
Now you look good, man.
Yeah, baby. That's because I surround myself with you.
Cheers. Go on.
I didn't take good care of myself, you know, and it's all about who you surround yourself with. And I recently ran into one of those guys I used to run around with on the MRT, which is the subway here.
Yep.
And I saw him from a distance, and I was like, I think I know who that is. You know, we're all wearing masks, right? But I was still like, I think I know who that is. And I started walking towards him, and the first thing he said to me was, man, I forgot how ugly your tattoos are. Man, you got some ugly tattoos. Oh, my God. You're really, like, too old to be dressing like this. Like, why are you wearing skater shoes? Aren't you in your 30s? Like, why are you still dressing like a child?
Man, I'd be like, why don't you shut the fuck up before I get this hand and slap you right across your mouth? That's the kind of person you don't want to be around.
He had a smile on his face the whole time he was saying it, but he kept saying, and I kept saying, man, Jay, it's so good to see you. It's so good to see you. Like, because I love myself now. Yeah. I'm happy with myself. So that's how I treat other people.
Yeah.
And he's just like putting me down. And when I walked away, even my girlfriend was like, oh my God, like, why did he feel the need to tell you 3 times how ugly your tattoos are? It's like, I think my tattoos are pretty awesome, first of all. But he just put me down so much. And I used to hang out with that guy once or twice a week. We had a whole crew of people that were like not as bad as him, but similar. We just partied all the time. And we weren't positive. We weren't proactive. We weren't optimistic.
I mean, you can rip on your friends, you know, take the piss out of each other a bit, but, you know, you do it in a joking way. But when it's something like that, that sounds like it's got some malice behind it, or like that guy's not so happy with himself or his own life.
Totally. You project. People project their own reality.
Yeah, and anybody out there that's listening, separate yourself from people like that, or just talk to them, and just or if they really mean something to you as a friend, just express them. Hey, you know what? Could you try to be a little bit more positive when you talk to me? You know, could you try not to talk to me like that? And
yeah, but then they get really defensive. Like, what do you mean? What do you mean? Oh, I'm so positive, man. I'm just joking around, dude.
Well, then in that case, I would slowly separate myself from
I would just smack them.
And just I've cut a lot of people like that out of my life over the years.
I'm very discerning nowadays who I spend my time around. And really, I do look at everything in terms of value. Like, am I getting value from this movie? Am I getting value from this conversation?
Yeah.
Am I getting value from this interaction or this activity? And if I'm not, then there's absolutely no reason I should be engaging in it. You should only engage with that which gives you value.
Very true.
You know? So it's very important. It's very important who you surround yourself with. That's huge. It's actually like a magical thing. Like now I surround myself with you and Ned, and I'm constantly like pushing myself above and beyond.
Well, you're surrounding yourself with people that are creative, that like to write, that play musical instruments. We like to create with musical instruments. We do ice baths for health reasons. We do headstands for yoga and for health reasons. We train in the gym. We train hard. We do all these things.
Now we got inversion boots, baby. We should have put those on the fucking table, man.
We're gonna get those. We're gonna get those on the podcast video.
We're gonna teach you guys how to do spinal decompression very, very
soon. The Yank
soon.
bought these pair of boots recently. They've got these hooks on the end of them. I don't even know what they look like. They look like some kind of medieval torture device.
Everybody thought they looked like sex toys.
What you do is you put them on your ankles, you strap them in, and then you hang.
You strap them to like a pull-up bar.
Yeah, and you hang yourself upside down from the pull-up bar by these boots. That's awesome. I can't fucking wait to try it.
It feels so good. I was trying to just wrap my knees around the bar and hang.
Yeah.
But then it started like ripping the backs of my knees apart. And I was like, there's got to be a way to do this. Come on, man. Yeah. And so I Googled like hanging upside down boots. And then I found out there's a thing called inversion boots.
The time we live in, huh?
Yeah, listeners. Dude, I think like if you have any sort of like spinal problems, neck problems, anything like that, or shoulders, like, dude, I felt everything just totally release.
That's class.
This is huge. So this is going to be our biohack of the day, guys. Inversion boots. And we're going to send you a video real soon of us using them.
So some people might be familiar with dead hanging in the gym. It's where you basically just free hang from a bar, like a chin-up bar for as long as you can.
Right.
It's very, very good for decompressing the spine and all that kind of stuff like that, stretching out the vertebrae. Now, the Yank, your version is the opposite. You're hanging upside down from your feet. So I'm very interested to try that out. The dead hang is good for that, for the spinal compression and stuff like that, but also for your grip strength, and a good way to test your grip and build your grip up. So I'd be very interested to have a go with the upside down boots.
Well, it's cool because you're not using any, your body's not tensed anywhere.
Yeah.
And so it's a total free hang.
Yeah.
Right? And with the dead hang, you're still using muscles and stuff.
In your fingers, yeah. If you let yourself
Which
hang
is not
free,
a bad thing.
Yeah.
I just want to do a tense free hang. Tense free hang.
Yeah.
Just like right now. This is a tense free hang, baby.
I'm tense, man. I'm super tense.
Are you?
Oh, I'm real tense.
You need a hug?
No, that would make me even more tense. I tense up when people hug me. I don't relax into a hug. I always tense up when somebody hugs me. Don't even think about it.
Well, we've had so many good things to say. I can't remember if we retackled all those good points I made earlier.
I don't know. I think this was so far a very informative podcast, and this is a good bit of food for thought for people out there. You know,
it is. If you're like
a lot of good advice, I think.
If you're isolated and you're feeling lonely and you're feeling separated, reach out. Like, it goes a long way. Who you surround yourself with goes a long way.
Yeah. And try not to talk negatively about yourself or anybody else, The love,
that's one of the things I wanted to talk about.
Yeah.
Was I've hated myself my whole life. And I just always had a really low self-esteem. And so now I make a to-do list every day of like, all right, today you're going to do Wim Hof breathing, headstand, write, read, journal, do cardio. And at the end of the day, I check that, make sure I do everything, and then I journal and I reflect, and I change that negative self-talk to positive self-talk, and then I look at my accomplishments, and then I start to love myself. And I think a problem a lot of people have is they don't love, well, number one, they don't know themselves, or number two, they don't love themselves. And it's definitely really hard to love yourself. How are you going to love somebody if you don't know them?
Yeah.
In this book right here,
yeah,
they don't use the word love.
What's that book? For
this is a Native American story.
What's it called?
I'm really not in the camera at all.
But yeah, but you're still talking for the podcast.
It's called The Education of Little Tree. It's about a Native American family. Okay. This boy, he lives with his grandma.
You are just all over the place now, Yank.
He lives with his grandma and his granddad, and they take care of him because his parents aren't around. And it's interesting because the grandmother and the grandfather, instead of saying I love you, they say I understand you, because they correlate love with understanding.
Okay.
Which is kind of interesting.
Huh. So what's the name of that book again? The Education of Little Tree.
The Education of Little Tree. It's a wonderful book. Actually, I have a couple pages dog-eared, if I could read them to you.
Go ahead.
Okay. This is pretty funny. Grandpa said they would put whiskey in barrels for a long time, so it picked up the scent and the color of the barrels. He said if a damn fool wanted the smell of a barrel, he'd ought to go stick his head in one and smell it, and then go get himself a drink of whiskey. Grandpa called such people barrel sniffers. He said he could put stump water in a barrel and let it set long enough and sell it to such folks, and they would drink it because it smelled like a barrel. I just thought that was funny. I got 3 poems.
Hit me with them.
I got 3 poems.
Okay, let's finish it off with 3 poems.
Okay, cool. The first one is called Next in Line.
Did you write these poems yourself?
Yes, I did.
Then power to you.
Next in line. Life, sex, death. Orgasms, waiting but deaf. Chained and cuffed to the wall. Little Mickey Mouse is scared he might be next to get called. That's it.
That was good. I like that.
All right, the next one. I think this one, I don't know. I was told to elaborate this one into a song.
Okay.
It's called Give Up. Explosions waiting. People cheer. Apocalypse is not what they fear. It's their own existence fading and knowing it will never reappear.
I like that one.
Yeah?
That's fucking good. Yeah,
cool.
I like that one, yeah.
All right, last one.
That's deep, that one.
This is called Drip Drop.
Drip, drop, drip, drab.
Slice. You're cut and bleeding. Shocked. You look down and see blood drip in the mud. And remember, you'll soon be pulled pork drippings hiding inside of a bun.
Is that about pigs being slaughtered for... Okay, that was good.
Pulled pork sandwiches.
Okay, damn. I like it. At first I was going to say that one's not good, but then when you hit me with that punchline at the end, I was like, all right.
Yeah.
That's good. I like those. They were very good. I liked all three of those poems, Yank.
Well, thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. But and I got one more thing. I've been saving up for this. So let me do this before we go. This is our little literature bomb. We just want to drop some awesome stuff. This is Viktor Frankl wrote a book called A Man's Search for Meaning, and he was a psychiatrist that was a Jew, and he went to the concentration camps in Auschwitz, and he survived. And he wrote a book about how he survived. It's called A Man's Search for Meaning. And he created a new form of therapy called logotherapy. This book is about a person who's fascinated by Viktor Frankl's logotherapy and wrote a book about the principles he used to survive the concentration camps and then to treat patients after he survived. And he says the reason he survived is because he found purpose. And a lot of people gave up. They gave up on survival. They gave up on life. And the ones that did that, he literally watched them wither away and die.
Jeez.
Yeah.
It would have taken a strong will, and a very strong will to survive, and also a lot of luck. It would have taken a lot of luck to survive in the concentration camps in Nazi Germany, because they could have just anything could happen at any time. They could decide we're going to kill you, bang, or you're going to the gas chambers, bang. I mean, you also had to have the will to survive, not to starve, not to freeze to death, all these things like that. That's, I guess, what he's talking about there. But as it is, it's that combined with just pure luck.
And recently, since I started reading this book, anytime I find myself starting to complain, I real quick go, well, I'm not in a concentration camp. That's a good little trick hack. Anytime you're like finding yourself starting to complain, well, are you in a concentration camp? Or like 1,000 Splendid Suns that you just read?
I was just about to say I read that book recently.
Go ahead and tell us a little bit about that.
I recently read a book called 1,000 Splendid Suns by Khalid Hosseini, and it's a book about Afghanistan. It's fictional, but it follows the story of two women there, and it's just brilliant. And
it's brutal too, right?
It's brutal. It's very harrowing. It pulled at my heartstrings from the first page. Like I was just like, whoa, this is hitting me hard already.
I knew you'd love it, dude. I knew you would love it. It makes pain palpable, right?
It's up there with my top, I'd say 10 to 20 books I've ever read in my life. Top 10, 20
Agree.
of all time.
You're gonna love The Kite Runner.
That's what I was gonna say. People out there might be familiar
it.
with this guy's work called The Kite Runner, which was a #1 bestseller too. But yeah, when you read a book like that about people that are suffering to that extent and how they endure it and different things like that, and then you look at your own life, you look around your room, wherever you are right now, just look around you
ain't that
and just
bad.
look at what you've got. You've got shoes on your feet, you've got clothes on your body, you've got a full belly, I'm sure. Unless you're listening to this before lunch or breakfast, which is highly unlikely. You've got a roof over your head, you've got clean air, clean water, you've got all these things. Because if you're listening to this podcast, I'm pretty damn certain you've got all those things.
You have so much to be grateful for.
Absolutely.
You need to take a little bit of time every day and just try to say at least 3 things you're grateful for. It'll make a huge difference in your thinking. It'll change that negative thinking because then you start training your brain to look for positive things. Even if I get angry, I'm like, all right, you're acting irrational. Do your gratitude journal real quick. And then I kind of man up. I take responsibility.
I think people should be made read these books in school. You know what I mean? Just to give them a bit more.
We talked about that with Damalari, right?
There you go. Also to give them more empathy for people that are less well off than them or situations like that.
Well, Paddy, this is about EQ, man, and emotional intelligence. And I think I've always had a low EQ. And only recently am I really improving that EQ. And that's the cool thing because
EQ means what?
Emotional intelligence. We have an IQ and we have an EQ.
Okay.
And your IQ never really changes. You can't make your IQ go higher.
Yeah.
But the cool thing is EQs can be manipulated. We can make our EQs better. Our parents, when we're a child, they can make our EQ worse. As an adult, as we mature, we can improve our EQ, which is basically just dealing with in interpersonal relationships, not reacting. Mm-hmm. You were saying that when you first met me, I was very emotional and unstable and reactionary.
You would react aggressively or emotionally very, very quick.
Big time, dude. Very emotional, lots of anger, because I was so unhappy with myself.
And you also didn't have knowledge of how to approach that. You didn't have the tools in order to change that.
I didn't know how to deal with my emotions.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Because where I grew up, never had a good role model. Yeah. I'm sorry for anybody listening, but I didn't. And it was only in Taiwan that I met a couple people that I could look up to. Mm. And that's something really important that's missing in today's society is looking up to people and having heroes. And that's what I get with you and Ninja Ned too. Is I look up to you, you inspire me, and everybody needs to find people like that. Yeah. Hero. That's why people love superheroes so much because it's very important to have that, to look up to someone, to idolize someone, to be inspired
and the
by
right
somebody.
Person.
The right person, exactly.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Thanks for all
So let me read this excerpt.
This is from what book?
This is from Prisoners of Our Thoughts.
Okay.
This is by the girl. She really liked Viktor Frankl. She adopted his methods and then wrote a book about it.
Let's hear it.
You do not have to suffer to learn. But if you don't learn from suffering over what you have no control, then your life becomes truly meaningless. The way in which a man accepts his fate, those things beyond his control, can add a deeper meaning to his life. He controls how he responds. Everything can be taken from a man, but one thing, the last of human freedoms, to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances, to choose one's own way.
Man.
And with that, we will end the podcast.
Okay.
Everybody,
Okay.
thank you for watching. Thank you for listening.
Yeah.
Knowers, you're a blessing to us. You know the spiel. Patreon, YouTube, Spotify, Apple.
Yeah. There you go. Paddy and the Yank signing off.
Peace out, guys. Much love.
Cheers.